Hello.
Hey, Troy, this is Jack, the home buyer. How are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Doing well, thank you. You spoke with one of my employees yesterday about your property, 1716 Avella Road.
Yeah.
Yeah, just wanted to speak with you a bit today about that property. Is now a good time to speak? Do you have maybe 10 minutes or so for me?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So I'm the home buying specialist here on our team. I'm the one that just meets with sellers. My job is really just to figure out which houses we're going to buy and to really just work out the price and terms with each seller I meet with. So would it be okay if I just take a couple minutes here to kind of lay the groundwork of how these calls typically go?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, great. So the process is pretty simple here. Like I said, I'll just confirm some basic information with you, crunch some numbers, and give you a couple different options here. And if there's one option that really works for you and you really like it, I can totally write that up. But if for some reason none of the options work for you, that's completely okay too. Just so you know, if it works out, that's great. If it doesn't, at least we gave it our best shot. So really no pressure at all whatsoever for you. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Okay. Great. And I am wondering too then, Troy, if we were to if we were interested in one of these options and it was something you wanted to move forward with, would there be anyone else involved that might be even just a tiny bit upset if you didn't let them know what you were doing first? Or are you the main decision maker here? This is your house. No one else owns it with you.
Well, my wife owns it with me, but I have power of attorney over her. She had 3 strokes, so she doesn't really have a say at this point.
I'm sorry to hear that. Okay. So the reason I asked that is just because, of course, selling a house is a big decision, and at the end of this call, I always like to just ask for a solid yes or no as to whether or not you are ready to potentially sell the property to us. Like I said, either answer is totally fine, but the last thing I want to do is come to some sort of agreement that you and I have, and then all of a sudden, there's other people, a bunch of other people involved. Well, oh, this, that, this, and then, it just doesn't work out for us. Um, so just make sure there's no misunderstandings too. We are not a retail buyer. We're a real estate investment company. So we do work with a large group of investors. We buy properties in as-is condition, and we usually pay all cash for them and can close on your time frame. So dealing with someone like us, there's not going to be any hidden fees, real estate commissions. We're 100 closing costs, so you don't have to worry about that. So that being said, an investment company, we do need to make a little bit of a profit, of course, on every house we buy. Otherwise, I'm sure we wouldn't really be a company and we wouldn't be doing this. We wouldn't be very good investors. So for a lot of people, though, we are still people's preferred choices than selling traditionally, such as working with a real estate agent. I'm curious, do you have any questions regarding that so far? Okay. Okay, yeah. So usually when I meet with people, they just want to know a few things typically. One of those is what happens next if we decide to work together? How much are we willing to pay? When would we be able to actually close the sale? So was there anything else you were hoping to kind of discover or know on this call other than those 3 main things right there?
Not at all.
Okay. And naturally, of course, to see if this is actually a good fit for us, I know you spoke with one of my employees yesterday, so some of this may sound familiar to you. So apologies if I'm asking some of the same questions. This will just be very quick, though. I'm wondering, in terms of the property and the condition, just to briefly catch me up to speed on that, it's in livable condition. It was rented out previously, but it's been vacant for the last 4 to 5 years. The roof does need work, but pretty much besides that, would you say new paint, maybe flooring, or is it literally just the only thing you know of is the roof needs work?
No, I mean, there's some interior work that needs to be done. I started to remodel the property. So when I started, of course, I wasn't able to finish, considering my wife's situation, and I just haven't been able to get back out there. The property was rented prior to that. It had been rented for many years prior to me not being able to get back out there, but at this point, the roof does need addressed. Interior-wise, the bathroom is probably going to need addressed because that's where the roof was leaking at in the bathroom. So that'll need to be addressed. The back side of right there off of the bathroom, piece of plywood needs to be replaced, subfloor.
Okay.
And then in like the laundry room, the floor is going to need to be a piece of plywood to it. It's a small laundry room, but it's still going to need to be addressed as well.
Okay.
Because that's the whole back half of the house. All the front side of the house doesn't leak or anything like that. It's just the back side because maybe it's just the fact that there's not enough pitch on it that water's rolling back in somewhere. I mean, it's 25-year shingle on the house, and it's just due to be changed anyways. So.
Gotcha. Okay. So I'm wondering too. Then, when you say the roof is leaking into the bathroom, when was the last time you were actually able to go into the property and see what the condition was like on the interior? Because I know you said
the drywall fell down from the ceiling because of the water, but then it was tarped over. The roof was tarped over, but of course, over time, if no one's done anything with it, the tarp is going to deteriorate, and that's what it did. So since then, have I been in there? No.
Okay. And just curious, how long ago? Because it's different if it was a month ago versus a year ago. A lot could potentially happen and change within a year. I'm just wondering, the last time you saw the property, the inside.
It's probably been months ago, probably 4 or 5 months ago.
Okay, gotcha. And in terms of access to the property, I know you said it's vacant. Is it currently pretty accessible? Like if I had a worker go out there and take a look, would they be able to actually see interior damage, or is it all locked up and someone would need to meet that person there with the key? What is that?
Yeah, it's locked up. You could go. I mean, it is accessible as far as you go up to the front porch, look through the windows, and you can kind of see what you're dealing with. The back door, you can kind of look through. You can see where the floor needs to be fixed in that laundry room.
Okay.
So yeah, you can see the actual damage that I'm talking about. You may be able to see past that room into the bathroom because it's like a middle room. Then there's a actual bathroom setting where the toilet and the tub is at, and the vanity was in the room that you pass through to get to the actual toilet and bathtub.
Okay. Gotcha. And in terms of like some of the other major components, so do you think it's the entire roof needs to be replaced, or is it just a portion of the roof that has a leak that needs to be fixed?
No, I mean right out the back, if you didn't want to put any money into it other than the area that was that needs to be addressed, yeah, I mean you really wouldn't have to do much other than that section.
Okay. And with that area that needs to be addressed, both the roof, the flooring, and the leak, just based off of your experience, because I know you have some rental properties and whatnot, and you sound knowledgeable. What would your guess be in terms of getting it to standard where we can actually rent it out or potentially flip it if we want to do a full remodel? Like, what do you think, at least just to get it rent ready, we would be looking at in terms of repairs? Because a little leak on a roof could be cheap, or it could be a ton if a bunch of water came in and messed up the flooring in a good portion of the house.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking. I mean, if you're talking about the whole house being rent ready or something like that, well, you're talking. I mean, depending on who you use, what contractor. Really, it wouldn't take no more than $5,000.
Okay, gotcha. So besides that leak in the roof that's leaked into the bathroom and kind of messed up the flooring that would need to be replaced there, how is the HVAC, electrical, plumbing, everything like that is in working condition, or have a lot of those not been run in years?
Well, I mean, everything still works. It hasn't ran, but everything does work. New electrical service, plumbing is still the same. Nothing's changed with that. Maybe because no one's been out there, may possibly have a leak in a pipe because water sits in pipes sometimes and things like that. But other than that,
Okay. And okay, I appreciate the info there. And in terms of you wanting to sell this, is it? I mean, I know, like you said, with your wife's health and managing that, and not having time to really go back to your projects you were working on, is that kind of the main reason why you're interested in selling this property, or?
Yeah, and it's kind of out of my way. You know what I mean? I mean, if it wasn't for her situation, of course, I would keep the house. I would fix the house and turn around and probably rent it out or sell the house. Either way, I have multiple properties, so sometimes they liquidate some here and there.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah, definitely. If it wasn't for her situation, I would keep it.
And have you ever thought about potentially even going, the traditional route, fixing it up and listing with an agent? Or, of course, the reason you haven't listed with an agent is because you don't want to have to fix it all up and go through that process. Is that right?
Yeah, I definitely don't want to deal with an agent. I mean, I could sell property myself without an agent.
Yeah.
Clearly,
Very
I've been
true.
doing this long enough to know what to do.
Yeah.
Even experience of dealing with agents. There's no sense in me paying somebody else money when I can keep that money in my pocket.
Yeah.
To
No,
sell
it
property.
makes a lot of sense. A lot of people don't realize the agent commissions, the holding costs with that, a lot of the renegotiations that come back with inspection reports and repairs and all that stuff too, closing costs, it definitely adds up.
Right.
And say if you did sell it traditionally with like an agent, of course, it depends though. It's harder to sell things as is condition on the MLS, of course. But I mean, considering us, you not having to pay realtor commissions with us, we're covering all closing costs. We're buying as is. We're dealing with all repairs, everything like that. What would kind of be that bottom dollar for you, all cash, that would make you happy to, sell the property for?
Well, like I told your guy yesterday, 60. I mean, the property sat. I mean, the property was valued at 50,000 over 10 years ago. Short of properties aren't like cars, so they don't depreciate like a car does.
Totally.
If anything, the value increases. Consider things that you do, and just sometimes just being an actual comp. Use those as comps to figure out prices on the house that is actually being sold. So
Yeah,
if it's something that's comparable, it still holds its value.
definitely.
So that's kind of where I'm at with it.
Okay. Gotcha. And I mean, what would you say are kind of most important to you? Because as investors, there's a handful of things we can offer sellers in your situation. Like I said, there's a lot of different options. The way we buy properties, we buy all cash. We have a couple of different programs as well. I wish I could give everyone everything, all the cake, but of course I got to eat a little bit too. So I'm wondering, like, what's most important to you? Is it speed, convenience, speed and price, convenience? Kind of what's the most important thing to you out of that?
I don't think it's speed. Definitely not speed.
Yeah, because you're fine with that, sitting there vacant for another year, so it's not hurting you right now or anything, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I'm still paying for it. It doesn't make me a never mind. You know what I mean? At this point,
Totally.
Other than the fact that, and I may have to do a little extra work than I had to do previously. You know what I mean? Like, so, yeah. I mean, I do the work. I can do the work. I just have to be able to do the work. I have the material to do the work. I have all the stuff. I have windows for that. So I got drywall. I got doors. I got new tubs. I got vanities. I got all of that stuff in hand. It's not something I have to go out and purchase. So, and it's newly updated stuff too. It's not like it's old stuff that I'm just been holding on to, and it's out of date. And, you know what I mean? So, yeah. I mean, I would just say convenient, really.
Okay. And of course, price too, right? Like, you don't want to sell it for $5,000 or something like that, obviously. Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah. So now I appreciate all the information there and whatnot, because I like to try to create win-win scenarios. That's why I kind of ask, hey, what's most important to you? We have a lot of different options. When I originally started real estate investing, I would often just be focused on buying cash, and sometimes cash doesn't work for everyone. Usually cash is more so for someone that really wants a speedy, quick sale, like, hey, this property is in really bad shape. I have bills to pay. I can't deal with this sitting here. Just because it's more of like, they're not always liquidation type of offers, but they're usually a bit cheaper than market value. And I think you're asking for a pretty reasonable price. Like, I speak with a lot of people who, because this property here, probably all fixed up if we got it into 2024 modern standard. I mean, I'm just curious, what do you think it could sell for on the market if it was fully modernized?
I'll say 110.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe even more than that. You know what I mean?
I was right in that ballpark. I was thinking 100 to 110, right around there, as well. So, yeah, I think what you're asking is reasonable. And of course, though, I'm not the head boss here and make all the decisions. I'm more of like one of the underwriters and managers here with our company. So far, what I got approval on, it's not. We don't know everything yet with the interior and the condition like that. So we were kind of factoring potentially a new roof and things like that. But pretty much what investors have been paying kind of in that area recently for properties similar in size. Like I said, we don't know the exact interior condition though, but from that square footage, we're looking roughly at like 40 to 55,000 in terms of like what we would get approval on for a cash offer. Of course, though, that's just a ballpark, and we haven't seen like interior pictures yet or anything like that. I don't know if that's something that range kind of works for you. I'm guessing probably not.
Well, I mean, 55 is closer to 60. You know, I mean, 40 to 55. I mean, that's a nice range. But as long as we stay on the high range of it, you know, to 55, I mean, it might be something. I mean, I'm not going to quiver over $5,000, you know, for $55,000. You know what I mean? I'm just not going to do it. I would, of course, accept that offer if that's what it was. But if it's not that, no, I probably wouldn't accept it.
Gotcha.
I'm not going to keep, you know, I'm not going to give up more than $5,000.
Yeah, totally understand. Yeah, so I mean, we're close. We're close right there where I think we can make a cash offer work. Do you happen, by chance, Troy, to have any recent pictures you took of that property when you were there a couple months ago, by chance, or no?
Interior-wise or exterior?
Either or.
Well, exterior, I did exterior. It actually is probably still on Zillow anyway, so you can probably look it up.
Okay, gotcha. So you have some exterior ones on Zillow there recently. That
Yeah.
Okay, I'll have to take a look at that. I didn't see those. And then interior-wise, when was the last time you had interior pictures? Has it been a while?
Probably something up there and drop materials off up there.
Okay. Because I have people in my team that work for me. They're in Pittsburgh, so you know they got not too far of a drive, about an hour. And of course, we would make that drive once we're in agreement to actually purchase the property and everything like that. But I'm just like, okay, I got to just pay someone, you know, probably whatever, couple $100 for their time to drive. Well, probably more than that, to drive an hour out, go walk it, take some pictures, and drive back. That's why I was just curious, just to see if we could have an idea. I mean, even if those pictures are, let's say, a year old or something like that, and you know it's not affecting the back of the house, like just to give me an idea of what we're looking at in terms of just general condition.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure I probably have some on one of my phones.
Okay.
So if I don't know, send me an email or send me or I can send a message to this phone, I guess.
Yeah.
Radio number.
Yeah, that'd be perfect. If you could text me over some pictures, that would be great. That would just give me a better understanding of it. Because I think we're there for our cash offer. I was going to mention something else to you, but I think we're close enough there for our cash offer where we can make something work. We do have another plan. I call it our equity protection plan, where sometimes we team up with sellers and we give them a little more than what their cash offer was. And we kind of team up, and basically I do all the renovations on their house. And then when I sell it, I make some profit. They get more than what they were going to get cash wise. And the thing that's lucrative about that program is a lot of the times, I mean, of course, this one isn't move-in ready for someone to buy anyway. But even if something was move-in ready, like when we sell a property and we team up with a seller, I market it as we offer renovations. You know, someone may request, hey, I want new kitchen cabinets. These are a little bit older. My construction team can do those at cheaper costs than what they would probably get. Also, too, with FHA, VA loan buyers, of course, those loans aren't going to be insured on every property. And a lot of times they come back with small little nitpick things that a seller doesn't want to deal with. So we come in and we, you know, fix those repairs. We're like basically a concierge service, hands-off, white glove experience for sellers, where they're getting their net. They're not having to deal with real estate agents, commissions, negotiations, things like that. And we can oftentimes give them a little more money. So that's why I said we do have options. It sounds like here, though, the cash option would work. But I mean, now I'm wondering if it was a difference of $5,000, maybe, let's say if we were able to get you actually 60 instead of 55 or in that 50 range, if that's something that may even interest you if we did something like that option. I'm not sure.
Well, I'm just not really sure how you're saying that you would basically be the concierge service, but you're saying that you would send your team out. So basically you're saying that if I own another property outside of this property that I actually sell to you and you guys purchase from me based on the fact that you're going to do this plan, you're saying that any other property that I have, basically you would be my construction team in a sense,
to fix it up to whatever standard it has to be for whatever potential customer that you have that's purchasing it.
Sorry,
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah, so it wouldn't involve any other properties you have. It would just be this property here, 1716 Avella Road. So that property here, this one we would essentially market it out to our buyers. We may use the the open market as well too, and we'll offer to do renovations, repairs, and
Oh, okay,
get it up to
okay,
quality standard. So like you
okay.
said, hey, we could probably sell it for close to 100 once it's fixed up. And if I have to
Right,
put 15, 20, whatever it is into it to get it looking pretty nice where we can get that price range, then
right.
of course I said I can get those kind of cheaper wholesale prices from my large network of contractors I work with.
Okay,
So there's a little bit of profit spread for me there. And then, of course, too, I'm taking on the risk by putting the money into the property and doing the work. And then once it sells, instead of, like I said, maybe instead of us giving you 55K, if we did this route, we could probably give you 5K more, something like that. I have to speak with my
okay.
boss, of course, and get approval. But that's another potential option.
Yeah,
I think we're really close on the cash offer, though, where that could work. But I just wanted to mention that, too, because it could put, $5,000 more in your pocket at closing potentially.
right,
But time frame wise, we may need 60 to 90 days for something like that, versus a cash sale which we could close in less than 30.
45.
Yeah,
Less than 30?
yeah, usually about 30 is what we shoot for on a cash
Yeah,
transaction.
30. Yeah, that's typical. 30. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Um,
yeah. So I don't know if that's something you want to think about, that second option, or if you would prefer to just do a cash sale. Like I said, we'll probably be closer to 55 on the cash sale though.
yeah.
But the other option, same thing. Your net wouldn't change. You might get a little more at closing, but of course, it's just dependent on what you want. Because that first option would be a little more speedy.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I don't think things move in that market super super quick. It's kind of on the outskirts, a smaller town, where it could take potentially 90 days, 120 days to maybe move something unless we priced it super super nicely.
Right.
So that's just another thing to consider too. But next step though, Troy, if you could text me over some pictures of the interior and the exterior, just kind of all the pictures you got, that'd be great. And as long as it looks like I'm sure what you're saying is going to line up with what the pictures I'm going to see are. And then as soon as it looks like it's in good shape, I can actually get an offer approved. We can get something in writing. And once we get something in writing, then I could have one of my guys actually go out there and give me some bids and get everything moving and push towards a closing date. But I think we're really close right now in price that would, work for both of us.
Okay. Sounds good. Let me work on getting those pictures to you, and I guess we'll go from there.
Great, Troy. Yeah, that sounds good. And when would be a good time to follow up with you? Do you think those pictures is something you could, get done here shortly, or is it something you'd have to look on your computer from a while ago? Or
Yeah, I mean, I break phones often, you know what I mean?
gotcha.
Change them, so I just got to go back through some phones and see. I know I got pictures.
Okay.
Or check out my Google account or something like that, see if it's in there. So maybe just check with me maybe tomorrow or something like that.
Okay.
Or Monday, or even Monday, whatever is
Okay.
better for you.
That sounds good. Yeah, I'll check in with you tomorrow mid-afternoon then and just see if you have an update for me then. And if you can't find pictures by chance, like I said, I can get someone to go out there. But of course, I usually like to have something escrow open on it.
You shouldn't have to do that.
Okay.
I know that's going to cost you money anyways, but no, you shouldn't have to do that. I should have some pictures, I believe.
Okay.
Pretty sure I do.
Awesome. Sounds great, Troy. Well, I really appreciate the time and look forward to doing some business with you. I'll talk to you tomorrow then.
Sounds good, buddy.
Great. Take care.
All right, come.
Bye-bye.